All right. So I'm just here. I've been in the trial, the Eric Holder trial, for all the days of testimony. And you know how they say there's transcripts to the court case? Here are my transcripts. Here are my transcripts in the court case. I got about 55 pages of handwritten notes based on all the testimony. So let's take some questions. Let's take some questions. Question number one. Anyone got any questions? There's been a total of 8 witnesses, I believe, so far. Let me see here. I'll tell you right now how many witnesses. 9, no. The woman that drove the car, Miss Nicholson, she is witness number 10. So, and she's still on the stand. And she'll be on the stand continuing tomorrow morning. She's the 10th witness. So, do you think he's going to life? I don't know what that means. Anyone testified today? Yes. I'll give you the quick rundown of the witnesses that testified today. The first witness that testified today was a police officer named Timmermans. And what Timmermans testified is that he gathered the video footage that was shot inside of the Master Burger. And he was only on the stand for a few minutes. And then after Timmermans was a LAPD officer named Zaragoza. He also gathered video that was shot from a house on 58th Street that shows the alley. And then after him, the third witness was Shermi Villanueva. That's the nephew to Kerry Latham. And he testified for a bit. He was the third witness for today. And then there was a girl named Ingrid Caston. She was sitting in the car in the parking lot during the whole shooting. And she testified on what she saw. She actually brought the lunch. She brought the food for Cowboy. And then after Ingrid Caston, there was the star witness, Miss Bryannitta Nicholson. And she's still testifying. She'll take the stand, continue to take the stand tomorrow morning. So that's a wrap up of all the witnesses for today, Monday, June 20th. All right. What else we got here? Is Rimpau going to take the stand? I don't believe Rimpau's going to take the stand because he is avoiding the subpoena. Most of the people that have taken the stand, Kerry Latham, Mr. Villanueva, they were subpoenaed, forced to be there. So if the police can find him and subpoena him, then maybe we'll see him. But I doubt they're going to find him in time for this trial. So I don't think we'll be seeing any Rimpau. Where's the camera in front of the marathon? Apparently there's no footage of that camera. The only footage we have is from the Shell gas station. That camera shoots all across the parking lot. And then there's footage from the Master Burger that shoots from the inside to the I guess you could say to the apron of the strip mall. What else we got here? Is Holder on mainline or PC? He would be in the medical section of the LA County Jail. It's not the mainline, but I guess you could say it's sort of like PC. Why are people calling Cowboy a snitch, Terrell Brown? Well, the reason why people are calling Cowboy a snitch is because he actually testified. He was the first witness for the prosecution, and he testified on day one. And he actually pointed Eric Holder out as the shooter. He actually said he knew him prior. And even on the stand, Cowboy himself said that some people are going to consider what I'm doing snitching. So I mean, he's a guy from the hood. He's been to prison, and he's testifying in a murder case where he's pointing out who the shooter is. So that should be pretty self-explanatory why people are calling him a snitch. Somebody said Cowboy ain't no snitch. Well, Blac Sam get subpoenaed. I don't know if Blac Sam got subpoenaed, but Blac Sam is definitely not going to be coming to court. And my guess is that he wasn't subpoenaed, or the police weren't able to subpoena him. But he was at his marijuana collective thing on Saturday. So if the police really wanted him to come to court, they could have just showed up right there and subpoenaed him. But they didn't. So I really can't answer any further on that. And I say that because Blac Sam was easier to find than Rimpau is. Rimpau is hiding out, where Blac Sam actually had a big unveiling of his new store. So, did the defense cross-examine any witnesses? That's a great question from Love Life. So the only witnesses that the defense cross-examined today would have been Mr. Villanueva, Shermi. Am I pronouncing that right? Is his first name Shermi? Shermi. Shermi Villanueva. The defense definitely cross-examined him. The defense cross-examined Ingrid Caston. She's the one that was just sitting in the car. She brought Cowboy his lunch, and she actually videotaped Nipsey while he was standing in the parking lot. So the defense cross-examined Ingrid Caston, and that's it. Miss Nicholson is still on the stand, but I can guarantee you the defense is definitely going to be cross-examining Miss Nicholson probably sometime tomorrow. What else we got here? Eric got sent by the higher ups because Henry, nah, man, we ain't playing none of that type of stuff. No family, no stars, no rappers with they fake Nipsey love. What's interesting in all the trials that I've either worked on or that I just watched and covered as a journalist, there's always family from some side, whether it's the victim side or the defendant. And there's no family on either side in this case. There's no one coming for Eric Holder. He's got nobody in that courtroom from his family on his side. And there's no Nipsey Hussle family members. There's no Loweyn London. There is no mom and dad. There is no Blac Sam. And, I'm sure at some point in the future, they'll explain their reasons why they decided not to come to court. But the court is empty of any family members on both sides. Who else we got here? Lauren dating another dude now on the low. Yeah, but she's got a kid with Nipsey. So, no matter who Loweyn London is with, she still has a kid with Nipsey. So I would have expected at least a couple of days so the jury can see, it's important for the jury to see what family members come on what side, but ain't no family members at all. Alonzo, think it was a hit on Hussle? I don't know what you mean by a hit. I think every time somebody gets shot and killed, it's a hit. When you say the word hit, are you talking about like a conspiracy that includes multiple people at high levels? You got to be a little bit more explanatory on what you mean by a hit. But anytime a young brother gets gunned down in these streets, it's a hit. Do you know as Cowboy can go back to the hood after telling? 60 is going to be looking bad if he's still in good standing. You're going to have to ask somebody from 60s. Cowboy was a witness, not a crimey. Okay. I don't know what that means. So why can't you broadcast the actual courtroom while you're in there? The judge is not allowing any of the witnesses to be recorded. And I think it's because they had a tough time even getting witnesses to show up. So witnesses knew that cameras were in the court, and that's really another hurdle to try to get witnesses to come to court. So the judge is not allowing any cameras in the court. So you have to get the transcripts if you want to get the specifics of what happened. I'm going to start posting videos tomorrow where I'm going to summarize each witness. So we've had 10 witnesses thus far, and I'm going to do a video on each witness. And I'll start posting those tomorrow to the StreetTV channel. So tap in here, subscribe, and I'll start. My first video will be on Cowboy since he was the first witness, and I'll go through all 10 witnesses that we had thus far. What else? What else we got here? Yes, his attorney already said that he did it. If you go to my channel, I have video of the opening statement. So if you listen to Deputy Public Defender Aaron Jansen, he opens up his statement to the jury where he says, my guy did it. We're not here to dispute that. He turned it into whether or not it's first degree, second degree, or manslaughter. And of course, they're going for the manslaughter. So yeah, there's no denying that Eric did it. So we don't even got to say allegedly anymore. You know, he killed Nip, not even allegedly anymore. Terrence, yeah, Cowboy took the stand. Yes, Cowboy took the stand on day 1 of testimony, which was Wednesday, and on day 2 in the morning, which was on Thursday. The court was closed on Friday, so today, Monday, was day 3. How was it not first degree? I'm not sure I'm going to go into the explanation of that, but maybe on one of the videos I post, I'll do something on that. Y'all openly cool with snitching because he's from the suburbs. He passionately kicked him in the head. What did Cowboy say? Well, Cowboy is the one that actually heard the conversation that Nipsey Hussle had with Eric Holder. So he testified about what was said regarding those snitch allegations. And he also testified about the demeanor of both Eric Holder and Nipsey Hussle. He said that it was a regular conversation. It wasn't heated. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't hostile. Nipsey just made some comment about you need to get your paperwork correct. There's rumors going around. And Cowboy kind of said that Nipsey said it in a way where he was trying to look out for him. Like let him know, hey, there's these rumors and you need to clear up those rumors. So most of his testimony was about that. And then he ID'd Eric as the shooter. He straight up identified Eric Holder as the shooter. He called him stupid cuz instead of shitty cuz. And at one point, the prosecutor asked Cowboy, can you refer to him as the defendant, Mr. Holder, or Eric Holder, rather than using these disparaging names. The boy Holder, clearly a mental case, though, right? Cowboy downplayed the conversation Nip and Eric had. Well, what Cowboy did was he said it was just a regular conversation. It wasn't heated. It wasn't confrontational. But he did say that Nipsey brought up paperwork. There's this paperwork going on about you. And I think Cowboy also said that Nipsey said, I haven't read it. I don't know what the paperwork says, but the rumor is that there's this paperwork. So that's it in a nutshell. But I'll have a video where I go into more detail about each witness and what they said. When you gonna post the case about Cowboy? I don't know what you mean by that. Cowboy was getting food at the time of the shooting, right? No, that was the girl that testified today, Ingrid Caston. She actually pulled in and brought Cowboy some food. So the food that you see Cowboy holding was dropped off to him by a girl named Ingrid, and she ended up sitting in the car the whole time while Cowboy, Rimpau, and Nipsey were talking. So she's in the car and basically witnesses the whole shooting. And then Eric Holder runs off and runs right between the cars, and one of the cars he runs between is hers. So she dropped off the food and gave it to Cowboy. So you're not going to post the rest of the trial? There are no cameras allowed in the courtroom during witness testimony. So if I could, I would, but the judge is not allowing the cameras in the courtroom. Is the prosecution calling the female driver that drove Holder to testify? Yes, the prosecution actually called her today. She's on the stand right now. She'll be back on the stand in the morning. And the prosecution, let me see, she was called as a witness in the afternoon. Her name is Bryannitta. And she started to testify after lunch. So she got on the stand sometime around 1:40 p.m. And she was on the stand for about 2 hours until the judge called it a day, and she'll be back on the stand in the morning. And she definitely has a lot to say. But yeah, she's the prosecution star witness. Bryannitta Nicholson is her name. It was said a witness seen Cowboy in the store doing push-ups. Never heard that. Never heard that one. Will there be cameras allowed again after the witnesses testify? Yeah. When the prosecutor and the defense attorney do their closing arguments, then cameras will be allowed back in the courtroom. So I'll be sure to get that footage to you. Is the prosecution going to call the Red Hot Chili Peppers to identify what bridge they're talking about in their song? I think that bridge might be somewhere in MacArthur Park. I'm not sure, but that's a great question. Is Holder in high power in the county, or is he PC'd up? Well, he's wherever the medical inmates are. So anyone that's wearing the yellow LA County jumper, wherever those guys are housed, that's where he's at. And I don't know what they call that. I don't know how she got protected and not locked up. I got homegirls who got gaffled up driving their BFs. Well, the girl was not connected to what Eric did. You know, they were just on a date and they were chilling and hanging out. And then all of a sudden, this guy decides he's going to do that. And she got caught up in the middle of it. So the LAPD questioned her. They took her phone into custody. They took her car into custody. They searched her apartment. They searched her mom's apartment. I mean, this girl got investigated from head to toe, left and right, and she had nothing to do with what Eric Holder did. So, in my view of it, listening to her testify today, 100% innocent. Holder did. So, at all that connects her to this shooting, and no one is even accusing her. The defense nor the prosecution. No one believes that she was a part of this. So I think that's just some internet rumor type stuff. But what else we got here? Can the public go inside the courtroom? Yes, the public can definitely go inside the courtroom. On day one, it was very crowded, so you wouldn't have got a seat in day one unless you had a media pass. Let me see where my media pass is at. If you get one of these, you're guaranteed to get into the courtroom. But because I've been on these pavements for so many years, it's pretty easy for me to get one of these in court. But if you came to court tomorrow, you would definitely get in without a pass because it's not crowded. In fact, each day I go to court, the courtroom gets smaller and smaller and smaller, So people are having less of an interest in listening to every witness come and every witness testify. But if you're going to come to court, I think tomorrow is probably the best day to come to court because you're going to get to hear the girl that drove Eric Holder testify. And she's the star witness. So if you're in the LA area, you can definitely come to the courtroom, check it out. I think there'll be ample seating for anyone that wants to come. We got a lot of ridiculous comments. I'm taking questions. Anything about the Eric Holder trial, I've been listening to the testimony since the beginning. I've listened to the opening statements. I actually posted the opening statements on the channel here, so you can go and watch those. A lot of people have been stealing my clips from the opening statements, and I'm just here to answer a few questions about the trial since I've been in it every day. I haven't missed any of the testimony. And I got about 50 pages here. This is my transcript right here. This is all trial notes. Right here. This is all trial notes. If he's found guilty of first-degree murder, he's most likely going to get something to life. And he's also looking at 2 attempted murders against Kerry Latham and Shermi Villanueva. So if he's found guilty of the first-degree murder, he's probably going to get found guilty. Well, I can't say. He can be found guilty of the first-degree murder and found not guilty of the attempted murders. So we just gotta wait. We gotta wait for the jury to deliberate. Is Rimpau testifying? Someone asked that earlier, and I don't believe he's gonna testify because the prosecution has been unsuccessful at subpoenaing him. So he's done a good job at avoiding it. But if they could, they would love to have him in there. I know that for a fact. They would love to have Rimpau tell what he heard. Because Rimpau was right there where Cowboy was. So, but no, I don't think you're going to see Rimpau. Rimpau is going to lay low until this whole trial is over. What floor is the courtroom on? All all serious murder trials in downtown Los Angeles take place on the 9th floor. So it's the same floor that O.J. Simpson had his trial, where Eric and Lyle Menendez went on trial, where Todd Bridges from Different Strokes went on trial, where Snoop Dogg went on trial. The 9th floor. So if you're in the area, come check it out. And come holler at your boy. What else we got here? Can you please get Blac Sam? I actually had my assistant call Blac Sam over the weekend and leave him a message with one of his assistants. So we'll see, man. I saw Blac Sam do an interview here in Los Angeles for KCAL 9 with Pat Harvey. You know, I've been watching Pat Harvey on the news since I was a kid, and he gave her an interview, and I was like, man, I guess Blac Sam don't mind doing an interview. So we left him a message, and we'll see if he taps in. Don't ever call out a shooter on snitching. I mean, don't ever call out anybody on snitching. You don't even got to be a shooter, because someone who is not a shooter might have shooters. Just don't call anybody out on snitching. You keep that between your close folks. You know, you don't call anybody out on snitching in their face in front of other people. Definitely. What's the makeup of the jurors? Jacque Mangum. Give me a thumbs up if you want to hear what the makeup of the jurors are. I got my notes on the jury right here. In my jury notes right here. All right. So it looks like they picked 17 jurors for this trial. So that means you got your 12 main jurors, and that means 5 alternates just in case something happens. So I'll just go through all of them. The first juror is a Latino male that looks like he's in his 30s. The next juror is a white female that looks like she's in her 50s. The next juror is a white male that looks like he's in his 50s. The next juror is a black female that looks like she's in her 40s. The next 4 jurors are all female, but because they had masks on, I couldn't tell if they were white, Latina. Some of these people have these huge masks on, and you can't really tell what they are, but there's 4 more females, and they were sitting further away, so it was harder to see. And then the next juror is a female in her late 50s. Then we have another female in her 40s. Then we have a white male in his 50s. We got another black female. She's the second black female. She's about in her 40s. We have an Asian female in her 40s. We got an Asian man in his 60s. A female, then 2 more females, one in her 40s, one in her 20s. But because of the mask, I can't really tell where they're from. And then the last juror is a male a white male in his 30s. So that's the jury right there. It looks like it's let's see, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of the 17 jurors are females. Ain't that something? So this is a majority female jury. And most of the jurors are middle-aged. There are only, of the 17, there's only possibly 2 of them in their 20s or early 30s. So it's an older jury, and it's heavily female. Well, someone said nobody in their 20s and 30s. Yeah, there's the first juror I said was a Latino man, probably in his early 30s. And then there was a female in her 20s. So there's I think maybe one person in their 20s. So it is an older middle-aged jury. And there's a reason for that. I'll answer that. I'm gonna ask you guys, why do you think this jury is trending older, like late 40s, 50s, as opposed to 20s and 30s. I'll answer that in a little bit, but I'd love to hear some of your theories on why this is an older jury. Let's see what else we got here, people. Darden volunteered. I don't know, what's that mean? I just got a message here. My connection is a little slow. Okay, we're back. We're back. What time does it usually start? Well, today it started at 9:30. And I don't know what time the judge said to come back tomorrow because I had stepped out into the hallway. And when I came back in, the judge already dismissed everyone. So I'm going to go at 9 just to be on the safe side. But he had everyone coming today at 9:30. So I'll be there at 9 just so I don't miss anything. And it's Department 104. Older people usually are harsher on gang violence. Older jury because most younger guys are in the streets. Are you recording the entire trial to upload on YouTube? No cameras, no recording devices allowed during the witness testimony. Did they show Nipsey's autopsy photos? I believe the coroner is going to testify tomorrow afternoon or Wednesday. And when he testifies, there's going to be some photographs of Nipsey that are going to be public record now. Those will be exhibits, and you're going to start seeing. You're going to see those on the internet in about a month, like they did Pac. Remember they put one of Pac's autopsy pictures on the internet? So they haven't showed them yet, not yet. And they usually show those when the coroner testifies, and I believe he's probably going to testify tomorrow afternoon or Wednesday, but it all depends on how long this girl, Bryannitta Nicholson, how long she takes. That courtroom is violating so many civil rights. Come on, Alex, stick up for the Constitution. There's no such thing as a press pass. You know that. Yeah, you're entitled to come in. You absolutely. I have never applied for a press pass with the sheriff department or the LAPD. Never. And I'm in there. TMZ, the AAP, all these other media organizations, they have like legitimate, quote unquote, legitimate press passes. When they ask me for my press credentials, I say it's my Constitution. My little Constitution is my press pass. They just gave these out for seating. This just guaranteed my seat, but it doesn't exclude you from coming in as long as there's a seat. So there are no constitutional violations happening thus far. And trust me, if the court was doing that, that, and the third, you're the one that made that comment. So you're wrong on that. None of these violations are happening. This isn't to exclude other people. This is just to guarantee me a seat because I've been grinding in that courthouse for 20 years on cases, and I go to the media office trial. I want to make sure I sit, and because of my relationships, this guarantees my seat. Most people aren't coming to the courtroom. You can come and sit down too. Will Holder testify? That is the $1 million question. Will Holder testify? And I don't know. I don't know what defense attorney Aaron Jansen has in store. We will find out soon. We all know Eric is the fall guy. We going there? Is that where we're going? We're 36 minutes into this live. I'm going to take this live to the 59-minute point. So that's going to be a little over 20 more minutes, man. I got so much work to do, and I want to get back to court in the morning. I got to type up these notes. Any other questions on the Eric Holder trial? Yaya says Eric Holder won't testify. Is anybody else testifying or backing Cowboy story of Nip and the Holder conversation? The only other person that was present for that conversation is Rimpau. So, and I don't think we're going to see Rimpau. Okay, Alex, tell us why you think we have older jurors. I'm sure prosecutors like it. The reason why we have older jurors is because both the prosecution and the defense were trying to get a jury that never heard of Nipsey, that wasn't a fan of Nipsey, that never listened to his music, and that's the reason why we have these older white women, older black women, one older Asian man. These are people that don't know nothing about, they don't know anything about Nipsey Hussle. So that's the best type of jury to assemble so that Eric Holder has a fair trial. Just imagine if you had 12 jurors that were all Nipsey Hussle fans, you know, that wouldn't work out. So that's the short answer to that question. Jay Smith says, "Yo, Alex, you know what the truth is." Well, I'm not on no internet weirdo conspiracy theory trip. So yeah, I know what the truth is, and I got the truth right here. And you know, I've been on this case since the very beginning, over 3 years. So if y'all don't want to believe what I'm saying, then hey, that's your prerogative. All right, so some of you guys might have to ask your question again because the chat is going pretty fast. So Kerry took the stand and said nothing. That is true. Kerry Latham came and well, he didn't take the stand because he was in a wheelchair. So they wheeled him in and he was sitting next to the stand in his wheelchair. But when he didn't want to answer questions and he didn't want to recall or remember things about the case, the prosecutor just pulled out the grand jury transcripts and started reading off of that, basically saying, but didn't you say this to the grand jury? Didn't you say that to the grand jury? And his response was, I don't remember. Thanks for that super chat. Who was that? I didn't see. Oh, there you go. Eli Tesler. In your opinion, what effect, if any, will there be in the community after the verdict is read? No matter, manslaughter or first degree. Well, I think if it's a first degree murder, most people will be satisfied with that verdict here in LA, being that Nipsey was so loved. And if they find him guilty of a manslaughter, there's going to be a lot of debating and confusion on how did that happen, you know. All right. Anthony Brown, what's the truth? Is there anyone expected to testify on Eric Holder's behalf? You mean, is the defense going to bring their own witnesses? I don't know, but I would think that the defense would bring maybe a psychologist, maybe some sort of expert on heat of passion, and what are the elements of a heat of passion to lead to a manslaughter. So I don't know, because right now the case is still in the prosecution's hand, and until the prosecution finishes all their witnesses, then the defense will have his turn to produce the witnesses, and we'll find out at that point who, if any, is the defense going to have testify on Eric Holder's behalf. Bala says his psychiatrist will testify. Yeah, I'm thinking, you got to have some sort of expert on psychology, psychiatry. We'll see. What else we got here? Is Whack 100 going to testify? Come on. Who said that? M. Guerra 310. Guerra. Man, these chats are going a little bit too fast, and I don't feel like scrolling back. Let's see if I can get one here. Where did the video of Blac Sam come from? Hitman 9 Milli. The video of Blac Sam giving Nipsey Hussle chest compressions is from an LAPD body cam. That is from the police when they got there. And that is some real incredible footage of seeing Blac Sam, trying to save his brother's life right there on camera. Did you see Cowboy stealing out of OG Nipsey's pockets? Well, I can't say that I saw anything I can't identify anybody in that video. And that hasn't come up in the trial. And the defense didn't bring it up. I don't think the defense saw any value in bringing that up. So I don't know. So Cowboy only come with the motive? I thought it came from the girl that brought Cowboy food in the car. The girl, well, I'm confused on what you're asking. The footage? Alonzo is out of his mind. Cowboy is a civilian doing civilian things. How in the world is he considered? A Cowboy called himself a snitch. He said, people will consider what I'm doing now as snitching. So that came out of his mouth. Those are his words. West Coast artist, Al Ski. Why do you think Holder did what he did, Alex? You think Nipsey embarrassed him? Hey, Holder did what he did because he's a gunner. He's a shooter. That's his role in the hood. And from what I'm hearing, he's always been like that. And I've known quite a few dudes like that over the years, and I've always been careful how I talk to the gunner, how I talk to the shooters, And it's always good to know who's the shooter. When you go to the park and you're hanging out in your neighborhood, you need to know who the shooters are. You don't want to play no one-on-one basketball with the shooter. You don't want to roll dice in the dice game and start winning money from the shooter. So, shooters are unpredictable. They're going to do what they want to do when they want to do it. Off topic, you should do a video on Timothy McGee. Holder was a buster with jealousy and malice in his heart. You think LA dudes are harder than New York City dudes? Come on, man. What kind of questions we talking about the Eric Holder trial? I've been sitting in court ever since the opening statements last Wednesday. Today was day 3 of testimony, and we're on witness number 10. And the girl who actually drove Eric Holder to the Marathon parking lot is still on the stand testifying, and she'll be back in court tomorrow morning, still on the direct. Cross-examination hasn't even started with her yet. So tomorrow is going to be an incredible day of testimony because we're going to hear the rest of what Miss Nicholson has to say, and then we're going to hear the cross-examination by Eric Holder's lawyer. Did they drug test Holder? I haven't heard of any toxicology reports. There were no drug tests introduced into evidence. Not to say that they haven't been done. They probably were when they took him into custody, but it hasn't been introduced in this trial. And, you know, there's a lot of motions and pretrial hearings where they make decisions on what to exclude, what to include. So maybe that was decided on early on that that's not relevant. I don't know, just speculating on that. How did the public pretender get a promotion during the high profile? You're talking about public defender Loweyn Young. Well, Loweyn Young, it wasn't like she got a promotion. She applied for a job. You know, you got to apply for those judgeships, and then they get approved by Governor Newsom. And it takes a while. I don't know if it takes a year, year and a half, 2 years. So all this stuff about she got promoted during the, you know, this high profile case, that's incorrect. But, you know, I'll let y'all run with that one. Would you have testified if your homie was killed in front of you? I'm going to probably have to pass on that one. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to pass on that one. But, you know, I haven't been in a situation like that, so I don't know. But I doubt I would. And most of the time, they don't need your testimony to arrest and convict somebody. You know, what they want to do is they want to put everybody up there and have like this iron tight, you know, representation of the case. But in most instances, you don't need all these witnesses. Like, there's a lot of witnesses that are coming in this case that aren't necessary for the conviction, but it's important in telling the entire story. So I get it. I get why the prosecutors lay out their stories the way they do. If they needed you and his mom needed you, did Trump, y'all is wild. Did Trump? It seems like Holder was going to do what he did regardless of the conversation. Well, I don't know if that's true. Why aren't we getting more coverage on this? Well, you're going to get more coverage on this when the trial concludes, when the evidence concludes and it goes back to closing statements, because that's when all the cameras and the mainstream media, they come back. But they don't, most media don't cover the gavel to gavel witness testimony, you know, unfortunately. Would you interview Eric after this trial? I don't know. I don't even know if he'd be a good interview. How does Rimpau avoid being called for real? Well, in order to be subpoenaed, you have to be physically contacted and given papers. So if you could avoid any physical contact with the process server, then you don't got to show up. So your job, if you're trying to avoid coming to court, your job is to stay low, post up at somebody else's place, and you can never get subpoenaed. What else, y'all? Rimpau knows the truth. Are there any phone transcripts in the records of Holder's devices, socials leading up to the murder? So far, we haven't seen any social media evidence against Eric Holder. Why can't you live stream? Rimpau sticking to the code. Has Mob James split your wig yet? Do you think Rimpau? Is it true Holder lost family members behind this? No, I don't think any of that is true. That Eric Holder had family members that were killed. I think that was a rumor that was spreading back in 2019, and I never found anything to support it. What happened to the female driver? Is she going to testify, or will she get the same charge or less? Well, the female is actually testifying now. That's why I was telling people that if they're in LA, tomorrow's probably the best day to come to court because you're going to hear her testify. She already started today, this afternoon. Her name is Bryant. How do you pronounce her name? I've never heard this name before. Her first name is Bryannitta. How about that? Bryannitta Nicholson. She's the one, and she is currently testifying. And if you came to court tomorrow, you would hear her testimony. And she gives a lot of interesting information that we've never heard before. Why didn't the driver get charged? The driver didn't get charged because she was investigated and cleared. So she didn't, there was no conspiracy on her part. She was not a part of the attack. In fact, there was no plan. Even Eric Holder didn't have a plan. Eric Holder called up Bryannitta that day and wanted to go get something to eat, and they decided to go to In-N-Out. They never ended up going to In-N-Out. They were driving in LA, driving around in the hood, and they ended up at Master Burger. And it just so happened that Nipsey Hussle just pulled up. Nipsey Hussle pulled up unannounced. This was not like you could have went on social media and found out, oh, Nipsey Hussle's going to be at the Marathon store. Cowboy didn't know he was going to be there. Rimpau didn't know he was going to be there. It just so happened Rimpau was there, Cowboy was there. So there was no plot, no plan for this man. Forget about the girl. I don't even think Eric Holder had any plan to do anything to Nipsey. He wasn't even expecting to see Nipsey. So it's an unfortunate, series of events that took place. Alex, who was that old white guy that gave Holder something right before the shooting? I have no idea. Is Eric Holder going to be in PC for life? Well, he's going to end up probably, if he goes to prison, he is going to prison. It's just a matter of how long. He's going to be on an integrated 50-50 yard. So he's going to be mixed in with PCs and general population. So he's not going to have the isolation that he has in the LA County Jail when he gets to prison later on this year. I heard Eric got beat up by Nipsey the day or so before. We haven't heard any evidence of that. If that's true, the defense attorney would definitely bring that out. And wait till all the evidence bring that out. So once the defense starts to present it, all right, we got about 3 minutes here, and I'm gonna wrap it up. I hate to go with so many people here in the room, but I got a lot of work to do, and it's already midnight here in Los Angeles, and I'm gonna try to get to court early in the morning, and I'm gonna be up for a couple more hours typing up some of these notes. Let's see, they wanted to get something to eat an hour and a half away. There wasn't an hour and a half away. They were in Long Beach, and they decided to come to LA. You could drive from Long Beach to LA in 20 minutes if there's no traffic. So, and there was testimony that every day that Eric was hanging out with Miss Nicholson, they came to LA. They went to LA. They went to Red Lobster. They went to another restaurant. They went to the beach. They were always just driving around for the month that they knew each other. And they actually met on February 25th. So they only knew each other for a little over a month when all this went down. They crucified Nip. Y'all know that's a different woman from what they first showed. First of all, whatever woman they were showing before wasn't the woman. You know, that's, again, some internet rumor stuff, and you guys running with it. They kept her identity protected until now. And I saw the selfie photo that she took with Nipsey. So this girl is definitely the one that took that picture. And what you're talking about. Is there any paperwork proving Holder was a rat? So far, no one has produced anything of the sort. I wouldn't expect any paperwork on him to even come up in this trial. It doesn't benefit either side, I don't think. But that's their business. Did he get back in her car after he killed her? Yes, he did. He got back in the car. It was parked in the alley over past the Fat Burger, and he went back over there and got the car. And on that note, I'm going to end this stream, but I really appreciate everyone tapping in. Please subscribe, and I'll get back on tomorrow evening and give you an update of the rest of her testimony.